Number 5 says, using the number of moles calculated in number 4, determine which reactant is limiting. Now this is where people start to have a lot of trouble. What we want to do is, we want to figure out if we have this many moles, if we're given this many moles of iron, how many moles of sodium bromide do we need to react with that? Or if we have this many moles of sodium bromide, how many moles of iron do we need? And once we calculate that, we can see which one we might not have enough of. So let's start with the moles of sodium bromide. We have 2.187 moles sodium bromide. And we want to know how many moles of iron do we need to react with 2.187 moles of sodium bromide. The way we figure that out is we look at the mole ratios. It takes 2 moles of iron to react with 6 moles of sodium bromide. So we put our 6 moles of sodium bromide on the bottom. And we put 2 moles of iron on the top. The moles of sodium bromide cancel. And when we calculate that out, we get 0.73 moles of iron. What that's telling us is, if we have 2 moles of sodium bromide, we have to have 0.73 moles of iron to react with it. Do we have that much iron? Yes, we do. We have 4 moles. So we need this much. We have this much. Look at this in reverse now. We can take the moles of iron that we have, which is 4.029, and we use that to calculate how many moles of sodium bromide we would need to react with that many moles of iron. So once again, we're going to use our molar ratio, only in reverse this time. We're going to put the 2 moles of iron on the bottom and the 6 moles of sodium bromide on the top. And when you calculate that out, you get 12.09 moles of sodium bromide. Our moles of iron cancel out, and we end up with sodium bromide. So that means we need 12 moles of sodium bromide, and we have 2.187 moles. So what that is telling us is then we do not have enough sodium bromide to react with all of this iron. But we do have enough iron to react with all of the sodium bromide. So we've got lots of iron, but we don't have enough sodium bromide. Therefore, the one that we don't have enough of is the limiting reactant. And so sodium bromide becomes the limiting reactant in this problem. Now, there is another way to do limiting reactants that might make a little more sense to some people. It's not the way the book does it, but I'm going to show it to you. And if it works better for you to do it this way, then do it this way. Do it whichever way makes sense to you. What you do is you take the moles that you have of each one, which would be this one and this one, and you calculate how much product you could get. You can, and it doesn't matter which product you use. You can just choose one. So what you would do is you would say, okay, I have 2.18 moles of sodium bromide, I want to know how many moles of the iron 3 bromide I can get. Once again, you're going to use the molar ratios. So we use the 6 moles here, and we use 2 moles here of the iron 3 bromide, and for that we get 0.73 moles of iron 3 bromide. Okay. Then you take your other one, which is iron, 4.029 moles of iron, and you calculate how much of the product you can make with the iron. So for that one, we would have it's a 2-to-2 ratio, which is the same as a 1-to-1, but we'll go ahead and use the 2. 2 moles of iron makes 2 moles of iron bromide. So that calculates out to give you 4.029 moles of iron bromide. Okay, your limiting reactant is the one that gives you the least amount of product. In that case, we're comparing 0.73 moles to 4 moles. So once again, is limiting because it produces less product than the iron does. If this is a better way for you to calculate limiting reactant, by all means go ahead and do it that way. It doesn't matter to me. You just need a good way that works for you. So either way, either of those ways will be fine. And that's number 5. Number 6, in the above reaction, how many moles of FeBr3 will be produced? Well, we actually already calculated that when we did that second type of limiting reactant calculation, but we'll go through and do it again. Remember that we already figured out that sodium bromide is our limiting reactant. So we're going to use the moles of sodium bromide in order to calculate that. 2.187 moles sodium bromide, and we want to know how many moles of the iron 3 bromide we're going to have. So once again, we use the mole ratios, sodium bromide to the iron 3 bromide. 6 moles of sodium bromide will produce 2 moles of iron 3 bromide. So we just punch those numbers in. Okay, so we get 0.7290 moles of iron 3 bromide. Okay. The 7th question is, from your answer in number 6, calculate the number of grams of FeBr3 produced. And so you would take this number, 0.7290 moles of FeBr3, and we just convert moles back to mass using our molar ratios once again. 1 mole of FeBr3 is 295.55 grams of FeBr3, and that will give you 215.5 grams of FeBr3. Okay, so that's the answer to number 7, and that is Quiz number 13.